Hello. In this week's Torah portion, Shoftim, we hear the famous injunction, Tzedek, Tzedek tirdof. Justice, justice shall you pursue. This injunction has galvanized Jewish activism for centuries, if not millennia. Jews feel it very deeply and have applied it vigorously and concretely in their fight for human rights, against racism and bigotry throughout the world. While this is highly commendable, the question nevertheless arises, are ethical values and concerns alone sufficient to keep Judaism alive? More generally, are secular Jewish activities enough to preserve Judaism? Is the quest for knowledge enough? Is working for the advancement of science enough? Is fighting disease enough? Is the predisposition to challenge all conventional wisdom to make progress enough? Let us begin to explore this subject with a tale of two families. In the first family, Jewish parents, tell their child, there are two types of commandments in the Torah, ritual commandments and ethical commandments. The ritual commandments are primitive, irrational, and sometimes even barbaric. Civilization has evolved way past the need to keep any of them. We reject them completely. You may consider them dead letter and ignore them. But the ethical commandments, they are the soul of Judaism, the core, the essence. That is what we must preserve and pass on. You must not steal. You must not murder. You must honor your parents. You must love your neighbors as yourself. You must pursue justice. You must give charity. These are the eternal values of Judaism. That is what we are really all about. And the child will learn, and in time will respond, yes, mom and dad, I will treasure these values, live by them, and pass them on to my children. But I learned that these are universal values. It's not clear to me why at this point I have to stick the label Jewish on them, or on myself for that matter. And when it comes time for me to marry, it's not clear to me why I should have to choose a spouse only among the 1/5 of 1% of people my age who call themselves Jewish. All I need to do is to find someone who shares these eternal values, and together we will pass them on to our children. The label does not matter. This stuff is now in the public domain, as it were. And the parents will stare at their child, speechless. They won't know how to respond, because the logic is sound. The logic is unimpeachable. And so, several generations down the pike, these parents will have no descendants who call themselves Jewish. And the values we started from will find themselves mixed in with the values of other traditions within the extended family, and the political correctness of the day, and in many cases will no longer be describable in any way as Jewish. For some people, that is not a problem. To them, I say, peace. It's a free country. If you don't understand on your own, I can't explain it to you. But for others, it's a very big problem. It is to them that I address my remarks. On to the second family. Jewish parents tell their child, there are two types of commandments in the Torah, ritual commandments and ethical commandments. Both are important. Both must be preserved. You must not steal and you must keep Shabbat. You must not murder and you must keep kosher. You must honor your parents and you must put a mezuzah on the doorpost of your house. You must love your neighbor as yourself and you must not worship idols. You must pursue justice and you must fast on Yom Kippur. You must give charity and you must circumcise your sons. And the child would learn them and in time will respond, yes, mom and dad, I will treasure these commandments, live by them, and pass them on to my children. But he cannot continue as the child in the first scenario did. He cannot say, why should I stick the label Jewish on these commandments? Because so many of them are uniquely Jewish. They are not found anywhere else. He cannot say, as the first child did, why should I marry Jewish? Because the only person who will do all these things with him must necessarily be another Jew. and that will ensure Jewish continuity and the survival of the very Jewish values so dear to the hearts of the parents in both scenarios. What is the difference between the two scenarios? The ritual commandments. That's all. So, while for many Jews, even observant Jews, ritual commandments are seen as Shoftim, that is, commandments for which no obvious rationale comes to mind, for others their purpose is not so obscure. The Hebrew writer Ahad Ha'am once famously said, "More than Israel has kept Shabbat, has Shabbat kept Israel." He might as well have extended it to all ritual commandments. If you kill the ritual commandments, you also kill the goose that laid the golden egg. And then you will have no more golden eggs. Judaism is a package deal, ritual plus ethical. It has proved its worth as a package deal by producing good people who have enhanced the welfare of the world. It cannot survive except as a package deal. Take it or leave it. If you do not take it as a package, then your line will surely leave it willy-nilly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, the first family will undoubtedly respond, "I hear you, but I'm secular. I'm a rationalist. I must be true to myself. I could not live a lie. I just don't have it in me to light candles, study the Torah religiously, keep kosher, circumcise my sons, put a mezuzah on my door, fast on Yom Kippur, or stay away from the office on Shabbat." However, in addition to following the ethical commandments, I do three concrete things. First, I get involved in many social action causes. I make sure that all minorities get their full rights and are not discriminated against, that the poor get basic necessities. Justice, justice shall you pursue is very important to me. I was in the vanguard of the Freedom for Soviet Jewry movement in the 1970s and 1980s. Second, I support the State of Israel. I'm always defending Israel against its many detractors. Remember, secular Jews built the State of Israel. Third, I'm active in the local Jewish community. I serve on the board of my synagogue. I chair many committees, such as fundraising, membership drive, upkeep of building and grounds, etc. So tell me, are these three things enough? My answer to that is, enough for what? To keep you Jewish and fulfilling the mission of Judaism? Yes. To keep your children Jewish and perpetuate our values? No. Social action, support for Israel, and non-religious involvement in Jewish communities are three religions, and none of them is Judaism. In non-Orthodox congregations, we observe that those who lead it and those who use it for its intended purpose, worship and study, are typically two different sets of people. Now, why are many young Jews alienated from Judaism? Because parents give their children goods and education they did not have as children, but not what they did have as children, a Jewish home environment. Because parents send the message that secular subjects are far more important than Jewish studies, as evidenced by the fact that far less time and emphasis are devoted to religious instruction. Because the parents' involvement in Jewish activities that do not involve the child do nothing for a child's Jewish identity. Because parents communicate few distinctly Jewish standards. Even Jewishly committed parents say Jews must survive, but don't say why. Parents frequently push a universalistic outlook. But true universalism is rooted in a particular form of expression. The philosopher Santayana once said, "I can't express spirituality without belonging to a particular religion, any more than I can talk without using a particular language." The book of Proverbs says, "Train a child in the way that he should go, and even when he's old, he will not depart from it." This point is particularly well illustrated by the 1973 Mad Magazine parody of the musical Fiddler on the Roof, called An Antenna on the Roof. It goes like this. An antenna on the roof? What's so strange about that? Nothing, except that this antenna is on the roof of our kennel. You may ask, why did we buy a Zenith color TV console for our dog? Why not just a simple black and white Emerson portable? This I can tell you in one word: Possessions. Possessions, possessions. And then this one to the tune of Matchmaker, Matchmaker. The husband says, head shrinker, I'm a success. 3-car garage, fancy address. Head shrinker, look deep inside and find out why I'm a mess. And the wife says, head shrinker, I am his spouse. 2 minks I own, one's for the house. I'm just a typical rich pampered wife, so why do I hate my life? Then the daughters chime in. I'm Sheila, a free sex fanatic. I'm Nancy, a speed freak just now. I'm Joy, who makes bombs in the attic and answers the phone with quotations from Mao. Sound familiar? Now, non-traditional Judaism emphasizes tikkun olam, the repair of the world, making the world a better place. The origin of the term is in the Mishnah. There, the rabbis rendered rulings mipnei tikkun ha'olam, for the sake of the repair of the world. These rulings are not required by the Torah, but are deemed necessary to keep order in the world. In the second half of the Alenu, which some congregations omit, we hope for the day when we will be able to, quote, perfect the world under the kingship of God. Letaken olam b'malchut shaddai. In traditional Judaism, however, the way to tikkun olam is to perform commandments, both ritual and ethical. The more performance, the more the world will inch towards perfection in the Messianic age. To conclude, Joel Alperson, past national campaign chairman of Jewish Federations of North America, hit the nail on the head when he said, quote, Judaism is more than tikkun olam. Jews increasingly try to find their Judaic meaning in social or political causes, such as immigration reform, Supreme Court appointments, environmentalism, women's rights, etc. Putting aside the merits of the positions taken, let's be honest. These tikkun olam pursuits might feel good and even do some good, but they do little to build Jewish communities. If Jews continue to prioritize these social or political efforts over proven religious practices, we must have the courage to acknowledge that we have substituted all these secular causes for Judaism. They are increasingly taking the place of serious Jewish education and Jewish practice. It is the discipline of leading a traditional Jewish life that also reminds us how best to engage in repairing the world. Ironically, by overemphasizing tikkun olam, we could ultimately, through lack of Jewish knowledge and experience, lose the very impetus that put us in the tikkun olam business in the first place. We will be severely weakened if we don't acknowledge that we must repair ourselves far more urgently than we must repair the world. Unquote. It's time to take these words to heart. Shabbat Shalom.